We're back, folks! Time for another round of Anime Rex, and this time, it's all about those insanely overpowered main characters we can't get enough of. You know the ones, casually destroying enemies without even trying. But instead of the usual popular picks, we're digging up some underrated gems you might have missed. If you're craving fresh, OP action and want to discover your next favorite powerhouse, you're in the right place. Let's dive into the top 10 underrated anime with seriously broken protagonists. Kicking off our list first with Red Ranger becomes an adventurer in another world. What happens when you drop a full-blown Power Ranger into a fantasy world? Pure chaos, and it's awesome. Our hero? The Red Ranger himself, complete with transformation powers, flashy poses, and enough raw strength to bench press a dragon. He gets isekai'd into a world full of monsters, magic, and your usual RPG cliches. But while everyone else is stressing over levels and skills, he's out here one-shotting boss monsters like they're made of paper. No nerfs, no power downs, he's just as ridiculously OP as ever. Villain shows up, boom, gone in one punch. Giant beast threatening the kingdom? Bye-bye. The dude's living proof that sometimes all you need is a cool outfit, a dramatic pose, and fists of doom. The best part? He's not even trying that hard. He's just vibing, blowing stuff up, and casually saving the world with the kind of swagger only a tokusatsu hero can pull off. So if you've ever thought fantasy anime needed more explosions, over-the-top action, and a guy who can literally punch through problems, this is the show for you. It's ridiculous, it's fun, and it doesn't take itself seriously for a second. And that's exactly what makes it such a blast. Next is Infinite Dendrogram. If you're all about that isekai VR MMO life and think you've seen it all, Infinite Dendrogram might just surprise you. It's a seriously underrated gem that deserves way more hype. The story follows Ray Starling, a dude who dives headfirst into this ultra-immersive virtual game that blurs the line between fantasy and reality. But here's the kicker, he's got a weapon that's not just cool looking. It's got a full-on AI brain and evolves along with him. Yup, his sword basically levels up its own personality and powers. As Ray gets stronger, he becomes one of the top dogs in the game. But this anime isn't just about flashy power-ups and boss fights though. Yes, there's plenty of that too. What makes Infinite Dendrogram stand out is how deep the game world actually is. The rules, the lore, the way consequences stick everything feels surprisingly real. The battles aren't just about who hits harder, they're tactical, intense, and keep you on the edge of your seat. So if you're into sword art online, Log Horizon, or just love the idea of gaming worlds with real consequences, this show's got everything you're looking for, plus a smart sword buddy. What's not to love? Next is, as a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. You know the drill, reincarnated into a fantasy world, given some busted skill, and suddenly the fate of an entire country rests on the shoulders of a teen with cheat powers. Yeah, we've seen it 100 times. But hear me out, reincarnated as an aristocrat with an appraisal skill knows it's playing with the classic isekai recipe, and it leans into it hard in the best way possible. Our boy gets reborn as a young noble prodigy and, surprise, surprise, gets the appraisal skill. But this one's not just for measuring power levels or spotting rare loot, it's a talent radar for humans. The twist: the kingdom's kind of a mess. Like, economy crashing, borders falling, everything's on fire level mess. So what does our MC do? Recruit. He uses his handy appraisal hack to scout top-tier talent from the common folk future generals, brilliant tacticians, economic whizzes, you name it. While the rest of the nobility is busy sipping tea and twiddling their thumbs, this kid is basically building the Avengers of government reform. It's part fantasy politics, part RPG recruitment quest, and all around fun. So if you like your isekai with a dash of strategy and a cheat skill that actually gets used smartly, give this one a shot. If you're into anime that mess with your head and throw down some killer fight scenes, Goodnight World is a sleeper hit you seriously need to wake up to. This one's got layers like an emotional onion in a digital battlefield. It follows Ichi, a total beast in a VR game called Planet. Online, he's basically untouchable. But the kicker, his actions in-game start messing with his already messed up real life. And we're not talking about losing sleep or missing homework. This show dives deep into family trauma, emotional wreckage, and the blurry lines between reality and escape. What really makes Goodnight World stand out is how it takes the whole VR game, trope, and flips it into a raw, psychological gut punch. Yeah, there are awesome fights, smart strategies, and plenty of digital bull, but at its heart, it's about broken people trying to connect in a world that keeps falling apart. The family dynamics are wild, the drama hits hard, and there's a constant mystery brewing that'll keep you locked in till the end. So if you're tired of surface-level sword swinging and want an anime that actually digs into the why behind the action, this one's absolutely worth logging into. If you're craving a dark fantasy with plenty of sword swinging and some demonic flair, Saraf of the End is a must-watch. The story centers on Yuichiro Hayakuya, a guy powered by pure rage and revenge with a little help from a demon-possessed weapon. No biggie. After his world gets flipped upside down by a vampire apocalypse, Yuichiro basically signs a deal with the devil, literally to gain the kind of power that makes enemies regret even looking at him funny. But this show isn't just about slashing through baddies with stylish fury. It's packed with intense emotional moments, heart-tugging betrayals, and that juicy humans versus monsters tension. The twist: humans can only keep up in this vampire-eat-human world by borrowing power from demons, which, spoiler alert, isn't exactly a risk-free deal. Add in some jaw-dropping battles, a complex power system, and just enough emotional damage to keep things spicy, and you've got a show that hits hard on every level. If you're a fan of Attack on Titan, but wish it came with more demon contracts and a bit more eyeliner, Saraf of the End might just be your next obsession. Next up is the wrong way to use healing. Imagine this: you're chilling, minding your own business, when you get isekai'd into a fantasy world by accident because you were just walking next to the main characters. Yep, that's exactly what happens to our unlucky, or maybe very lucky dude. While the student council stars were the ones supposed to be summoned, this poor extra got sucked in with them and ended up stuck in a magical world. But hey, plot twist, he's blessed with ultra-rare healing magic. Sounds great, right? Well, not so fast. Instead of becoming a gentle cleric with a glowing staff and a kind smile, this guy gets tossed into hardcore boot camp under the watch of a totally unhinged mentor. We're talking brutal training, no mercy, and lots of creative and questionably legal uses of healing magic. Turns out, healing magic in this world isn't just for patching wounds, it can also be weaponized in wild ways. And soon, our boy is diving into battles, patching up his teammates mid-fight like some kind of magical combat medic on steroids. If you love your isekai with a twist, a few laughs, and a protagonist who has no clue what's going on, but somehow pulls it off anyway, this one's a must-watch. Next would be Stigma of the Wind. Stigma of the Wind is that anime you watch when you're totally over the weak kid gets stronger type of bull. Kazuma Yagami got booted from his fire magic family for being the magical equivalent of a dud matchstick. But fast forward a few years, and surprise, he strolls back in like an absolute boss with wind magic so powerful he could probably air condition the planet if he felt like it. Spoiler, he doesn't feel like it. Now Kazuma isn't just strong, he's cold, calculating, and has that smug "I know, I'm better than you" attitude that's somehow both annoying and weirdly satisfying. He doesn't need to scream or train under waterfalls for 12 episodes straight. He shows up, wrecks bad guys with laser precision gusts of wind, and then walks off like it's no big deal. And it's honestly a vibe. The elemental magic system is slick, the action scenes hit hard, and the whole thing feels like a refreshing gust of cool air in a sea of fiery, overly dramatic heroes. If you're looking for an anime where the main guy starts off OP and actually stays that way, Stigma of the Wind delivers no wind-up needed. Next up is Skeleton Knight in Another World. Overpowered heroes, fantasy worlds, and skeletons in armor with a strong sense of justice. Skeleton Knight in Another World all have that. A guy's just chilling, playing his favorite MMORPG, when suddenly he wakes up inside the game world as his character, a full-on armored skeleton. Yeah, that's right. No skin, no face, just bones and blade. The twist: even though he looks like something out of a Halloween horror story, he's got the heart of a knight and the skills of a one-man army. Since people kind of freak out when they see a walking skeleton with a giant sword, our bony boy keeps his true identity under wraps while going full hero mode. He's out here slicing down bad guys, saving captured dark elves, and dishing out justice like it's on sale. Despite looking like a literal monster, he's one of the good ones, and honestly, it's super satisfying watching him swing that huge sword and obliterate villains like he's taking out the trash. Between the epic action, fun world building, and the whole secret identity thing, this anime is a hidden gem that's way more than just bones and armor. It's got heart, humor, and a whole lot of slashy goodness. Next up is Hulk. Forget everything you know about the usual hero-villain drama. Hulk flips the whole thing on its head in the best way possible. Sure, the guy's ridiculously strong-like, but what really makes this anime a blast is how it mixes laugh-out-loud humor with wild action and a surprisingly deep story. Unlike your typical overpowered lead, who's all cocky and full of themselves, Hulk comes off as this super chill, friendly dude who just happens to demolish everything whenever he gets going. The charm here is in how the show balances crazy fight scenes with some clever comedy and a mystery that keeps you wondering what the heck Hulk's real deal is. Is he a good guy? A bad guy? Something way more complicated? You'll be hooked trying to figure that out. If you're tired of the same old arrogant, one-dimensional heroes and want something fresh, funny, and packed with punchy battles, this anime's a total hidden gem. Alright, so you might be wondering why To Your Eternity is sitting pretty at the very top of the list. Well, Fushy, the main character isn't your run-of-the-mill overpowered hero. Nope, he's immortal. Like, can't die no matter what immortal. But here's the kicker, he's got this wild ability to transform into anything he's ever encountered, which basically makes him nearly unbeatable in battle. Sounds like your typical OP anime, right? Well, hold up, because To Your Eternity is way more than just flashy powers and epic fights. This show is a full-on emotional roller coaster that sneaks up on you and leaves you reaching for the tissues. It's not just about Fushy's power, it's about his journey to understand what it means to be alive, to connect with others, and to face the realities of life and death. The storytelling is deep, raw, and hits all the right emotional notes, making you care about every character and their struggles. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and you'll probably question a few things about existence along the way. What really makes this anime stand out is how it balances that overpowered immortality with a super relatable exploration of humanity. Fushy might be immortal and almost unstoppable, but his experiences are profoundly human. The series tackles themes like loss, love, growth, and the connections that make life meaningful. And that's a wrap on our top 10 underrated anime with insanely OP main characters. Have you checked out any of these hidden gems yet? Which one stole your heart or blew your mind? Drop your faves in the comments. I want to hear all about it. Oh, and if you're loving this vibe, don't miss my top 10 anime where the MC is a full-on demon king, because who doesn't love a little evil overlord action? Catch you in the next one. And until then, happy binge watching.